I haven't enjoyed a Marvel movie since I can't remember when. And maybe same as you, I become comfortably numbed and increasingly skeptical over the last few years. But Spider-Man Brand New Day became one of my favorites of the whole MCU. In my opinion, it's worth watching not because it saves Marvel, but because it remembers something that Marvel forgot. In this spoiler-free review, I will try to answer 3 questions that hopefully will help you to decide whether to watch the movie or not. Is this another chaotic ADHD Marvel movie with an unnecessary runtime? Does this movie rely on nostalgia bait to have some lever? Does it make you feel anything? And what do I think it means for the future of the MCU? So I promise to give you my honest spoiler-free review because this is a Spider-Man Brand New Day, and here we go, baby. So is this a chaotic ADHD movie that it goes way too long, as I heard in some places? In my opinion, absolutely not. And to me, every scene made sense and it didn't get boring at any given time. The editing and the script, in my opinion, are tighter than Erin Moriarty's face game. Look, I came into the cinema yesterday expecting something like the Mandalorian and Grogu, some sterile, washed-down version of what once was a great IP with Spider-Man bouncing from one villain to the other without a clear story, like a disconnected fetch quest. But luckily, since the very beginning of Spider-Man Brand New Day, I realized
I have never been so wrong in all my life.
In my opinion, every scene made sense. It wasn't an exercise of then this happens and then this happens, but a tight story in which one situation leads to the next, fitting us the audience with the just amount of information that we need without overloading us. The movie lets things evolve at its own pace. It lets the audience breathe after important moments to process what is going on. And it's been so long since I felt respected by a Marvel movie. And I also heard this critique that the movie had like 40 extra minutes, but I disagree. The plot resolves at the end and it opens new threads for what I really hope it's another golden era of good Marvel movies.
Oh, my sweet summer child.
But every aspect of the movie resolves at the right point. You know, this movie kept earning my trust as it went by, and I just couldn't believe it. At any given point, I was expecting a Rian Johnson maneuver, but it never happened. And this is why it didn't have to rely on nostalgia baiting in order to stand on its own. And I love that because I'm gonna level with you. Out of the 3 previous Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, I feel that Homecoming is the best, or at least is the one that I like the most. I didn't care that much for Far From Home, and I felt that No Way Home was overcrowded with gimmicks and relied too much on nostalgia, bouncing from one thing to the other without telling a story. And I know that my opinion must not be the most popular regarding this film, but I remember leaving the cinema quite disappointed. But Brand New Day didn't have to look into the past, because it feels that it's building the grounds for what could come if done right. And it actually shows Peter Parker who's learning to move on while becoming a leader of those who are lost. And for the first time in years, I didn't miss Chris Evans' Captain America or RDJ's Tony Stark because this story doesn't need them. Finally, there's something new I can be excited about in the MCU. It's not the recycling of old corpses, but fresh and new. So I saw that many corporate shields were using the same word to describe Tom Holland's portrait of Spider-Man as mature, but I couldn't find a reason to why they were saying this, besides, okay, allegedly these being the talking points given by the publicists from Disney. But without spoiling anything, this Peter Parker, it's an organic evolution of a character who has lost and is trying to move on despite the tremendous pain. And that doesn't come as heavy-handed nor cheesy. And that's why I could empathize with it. He's not the weepy, tragic floor mat who is sad because of MJ, as many have said before. No. To me, this is a man becoming a leader, understanding his responsibility, which is part of the core of who Peter Parker and Spider-Man is, dealing with what it means to be responsible, which is amazing. amazing in an era with so much unaccountability. And because all that works very tightly, I was able to feel things alongside the characters. This movie was like flowing from one emotion to another. It allowed me to process what was going on during the movie and feel empathy. I very much like the chemistry of Tom Holland with his wife Zendaya, and I have been critical of her performance before, but here she shows a deep connection that it definitely works. Of course, there's a chemistry between them. And as I said it on my very successful review of Obsession, that one of the things that I enjoyed the most was that it made me feel, but also it made me reflect. And it made me remember things of my past. Spider-Man Brand New Day made me think at moments, what would I do in Peter's situation? Or how would that go? And so forth. And I missed this ability of movies to make me empathize with the characters. Because I don't need the actor to look exactly like me to relate with him. That is pure narcissism. What I need is to connect on a human level. To be able to see past through the shell and connect with what's inside. And this movie made it happen. So if I was able to feel that again from a superhero movie, I wonder, is the MCU finally saved? Well, not really. This is just one movie. And the MCU at its peak was a collective effort that had great and passionate artists contributing to it from different points. But with time, the studio grew complacent and lost their direction. As I said before, in my opinion, this movie absolutely deserves my money not once but twice in the cinema. And not because it saves the MCU, but because it remembers something that Marvel had forgotten a long time ago. And I really hope that if you have loved those movies in the past because they told honest stories, you get some of that back with this one. But another question still remains, in my opinion, and that is, after having seen what a great MCU new movie can do, what is there left for Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars? I mean, will that be the last breath of a cast and characters who they should have left once their final arcs had ended? Or will it solidify the grounds laid by Spider-Man Brand New Day? Well, we are only some month away to get the answer to. So, for now, that's all I have to say about that.